Hi, my name is Vince, and I'm the first negative, so I'll be refuting the claims that Amani just made. So their first claim, their significance claim, was that legalizing organ selling will lower the loss of life. Well, we need to actually look at how we can fix our current problem rather than trying to immediately change it. So the affirmative argues that organ sales are the solution to the current process. However, the affirmative fails to evaluate the fact that not all options have been considered before making the drastic change. According to organdonor.gov website statistics, 95% of US adults actually support organ donations. However, only 48% are actually signed up. This shows us that we have potential to raise these numbers before we consider creating chaos through a market that only exists in one other country, and that's Iran. And so the affirmative stated that Iran had a good system. However, statistics show that 70% of donors in Iran are actually poor, and that's the reason why they decide to donate for the money. My second point is that non-monetary incentives should be looked at that are not subject to financial manipulation, yet encourage and support organ donation, and this should be promoted. One example is putting them on a priority waiting list or a preferred status for a transplant if the individual is registered as an organ donor. So fixing these systems should be the first step in resolving the organ shortage. We don't need to create a new system with inherent economic class wars. Israel currently operates such a system which doesn't conflict with ethical underpinnings of humanistic medicine, and they support the understood foundation of donation. And my last claim to their first claim is that hospitals overlook potential donors. According to Thomas Moan of Modern Healthcare, the process to obtain a donation from the recently deceased can be lengthy. So the organ procurement organization, the OPO, are the actual ones that come in and determine if the organ meets the requirements for the donation. In a busy hospital setting, it is common that the doctor will see people rolling in on gurneys, and they decide that they don't want to call in the OPO representative to recover the organs that they need because they need the ICU beds immediately. Their second claim that legalization will eliminate the black market organ trades. Well, my first point is that the government wouldn't be able to successfully maintain and completely eliminate the black market. A professor at UC Berkeley, Nancy Hughes, states that we can try to ignore the real world and messy social, economic, cultural, and psychological realities, but they only need to conjure a hypothetical world where conditions can be controlled and manipulated so as to favor the logic of market approach to increase the supply of human organs for transportation. So in other words, it might sound like it's a nice idea, but practically there's no way of proving that such a system can exist. My second point to that is that the buying and selling of human organs and tissues can never be made ethical because it always penalizes the weakest. So even though a single market would distribute organs, unequally, human greed would then kick in, and at what point do we stop? At what point do we say that's enough? And if the government is able to add restrictions and regulations, people will want to surpass their parameters further than the restrictions provided. And finally, their solvency claim that creating a government will be financially benefit for all. Well, as I stated earlier, in Iran, the 70% that donate are actually poor, and so this is going to create an socio-economic diversity in classes where basically the poor are going to always be the ones to donate because the rich don't need the money for it. And we'll actually talk about that more in our disadvantages tables. Thank you.